welcome to our staff. And we have a very, very full agenda, so we are going to get started and move on very quickly. So before we move on very quickly, we'd like to welcome our Minister today, Minister Beth Campkin, to come along and give us a karakia to start. Very warm welcome, Beth, from our Salvation Army Church.
Let us pray. Kia ora, let us pray. He honore, he karoria ki te atua, e mangaroa ki te whenua, he whakaro pai ki te tangata katoa. Hangasi atua e nā kahau, ki roto, ki tēnā te moto. Whakatongi te wārua tapu. He awhina, he tohi ki I te mato. He aka hoki nā mahi mau. And I said, glory and honour to God, peace on earth and goodwill to all peoples in Hiratonga. Lord, develop a new heart inside of all of us. Instill in us your sacred spirit. Help us and guide us in all the things we need to learn. Lord, we pray that we give your ministers, of the councillors, our leaders, wisdom and patience as they make decisions. Give all the peoples of Hawke's Bay strength and courage to face whatever lies ahead this year. Give us each the grace and love to care for one another as brothers and sisters. Amen. Where's the waita? Is it okay?
Yes, thank you. Karakia. It was not very nice to have you with us today. Apologies and leave of absence. We'll start with apologies. Councillor Lawson is very sorry she can't be with us today. She has a very important family matter to attend to. Councillor Kerr.
Thank you, Worship. I request leave from 20th to the 28th of March. I'm not sure if I requested it last time. I thought I'll just do it again in case.
Thank you. Any others?
Yeah.
Councillor Watkins.
Apology for lateness from Councillor Nixon. He's
Thank you.
currently with the PM, but he'll be here as soon as he can.
Okay, good as gold. Thank you very much. Seal register sitting on the table.
Sorry, Your Worship.
Oh, sorry.
Leave of absence,
Yes,
the 13th to the 17th of March, please.
thank you. No further leave of absence?
Yep, leave of absence, Friday the 6th of March and Friday the 27th of March.
Thank you. Happy to move from the chair. Seconded, Councillor Kerr. All those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Any against? Thank you. Carried. Conflicts of interest. We'll just address those as we come across them along the area of the agenda. Confirmation of minutes. Councillor Watkins, moved by Councillor Watkins, seconded by Councillor Dixon. All those in favour, please say aye. Aye. Any against? Thank you. That's carried. Moving on to item number 5. Item number 6. Oh, it says 5 over here. That's interesting. Anyway, that doesn't matter. It's just for the quick here. Item number 6, the draft annual plan overview. Chief Executive, thank you.
I'll take the paper as read. Good afternoon, councillors. Look, the staff have worked very, very hard to develop an annual plan and budget that's in line with year 3 of the LTP, but recognising that one of the positive challenges associated with our district over the last 3 years has been responding to growth and trying to accommodate some of those cost pressures within the budgets, and also a number of new projects that have come through previous annual plan processes and other projects that are important to you as council. So with that, I'll hand over to Lex Verhoeven, who's got a couple of things to draw your attention to, and then happy to open up for conversation.
Kia ora koutou. Just apologies for the voice, struggling a little bit, but we'll get through that. So all the major matters in the report got workshop last week, as you recall, and officers got clear guidance to finish the draft annual plan. Just want to touch on a couple of points. There is an agenda item later that will have some impact on the budget around the regulatory workload paper, but if anything, that will have a positive impact on the budget, so you can safely pass these resolutions in this report without worrying about that. Probably just the other one I want to touch on is, we probably didn't have a lot of time, there was perhaps a little bit of angst around the parks items at the workshop, so just want to be clear about what was said to you there. So essentially what staff are saying is that everything that's in your LTP work program is in the budget and is funded, including a whole bunch of additional resources to respond to some of the on-the-ground pressures which Mr. Hosford took you through. So nothing's taken out, in fact it's all in and there's more in there. The second part of that presentation was really just an alert to you though that there's continuing requests around our amenity levels, and as we raise the level of service, those expectations increase. So I guess that was an alert, and the approach that we talk you through is to consider that more fully in a worked out program through your long-term plan. But if you're not happy with that approach, we can certainly consider some of those items or all of them at any time between now and June. So that is open to you if you want to do that, but probably nothing to discuss today. And look, the third thing really was I normally try and get you a draft of the newsletter that goes out to the community, just so you can have a look and that you're comfortable with the coverage of the issues. So I'm going to circulate that to you and just request you to contact me anytime and we can talk through anything that you want clarity around or possible amendments, things like that. This will all come back to you again on the 13th of March. I think the new council meeting date is for formal adoption in any case. Okay. So that's essentially from me. Thank you. I'll just circulate this at the end of this item.
Councillor Watkins?
Yes, thank you, Your Worship, and thank you, Lex. Just in reference to 4.16, where you talk about higher operating and renewal costs and enhanced amenity, I'd like to understand that when we move from our parks business unit to a new provider, did we advise that we were lifting the amenity requirement at that stage, or these costs, do they solely relate to the operation of the new provider? I want to understand between service level and the actual basic costs of a new provider. And I mean, you mightn't answer that here. That might be a conversation we can have elsewhere, but I would like to know the answer to that.
Just a question from me to the officers. Is the rec services contract coming back for renewal to operations and monitoring?
Through you, Your Worship, not this first operations and monitoring committee, which is next week or week after. It'll be the following one. Will be a report, a year in review of how we've gone against the KPIs and the business case aspects.
So, in terms of answering Councillor Watkins' question, would you like to do that, Mr. Pooh?
I think more substantively that paper will be able to work through those items, but at a high level, a number of those items that Mr. Hosford ran through were additional requests for things that had not been no line of sight for council in the LTP process. And the way the contract with recreational services was signed up and what we went to market for was at the current service levels as we believe the old maintenance group were delivering. And we had forecasts in the LTP, obviously, if you have a new toilet coming along, we'd forecast an increase to look after that new toilet. But we can work through all those detail items in that paper.
Thank you. Further questions on the draft annual plan, councillors? Councillor Harvey, Councillor Barber.
Bit of breakdancing. Thank you. Just comment around the CBD vibrancy, and it had been proposed to us that the contribution was 50,000, and then using 50,000 of the vibrancy fund, and I would like to see potentially that we look at that being 100 and 50k as the vibrancy fund. The main reason for that is we've just been to Toi Toi. The next 12 months is a big 12 months for the CBD, and I think we should be looking to really push it, pump it as much as we possibly can over the next 12 months. And I just don't think that what they have planned is enough funds to do so. And we've already had fantastic traction in the activations that have occurred in the CBD so far. So I'd like to see an amendment to that, please.
So certainly if there's council direction support for that approach, we could work that in between now and the 30th of March paper. So just would seek that direction first from you.
Thank you. I think it would be very helpful if the council saw the projection and the program for CBD vibrancy before they made that decision, to see what the staff have planned and what could be. So I think it's, I totally agree that we need to be doing this, but whether we put it in now without actually knowing what that vibrancy plan could look like. Others? Okay, so if council are comfortable with an approach that we could bring back in March when we go out for consultation, that is included with a full presentation by the staff on that opportunity. In the meantime, I've got Councillor Barber, Councillor Kerr, Councillor Sholm, and Councillor Dixon, so we've got lots of people have got a view. Starting with Councillor Barber.
Yeah, thanks, Lex. Just in terms of the rates increases, on average 4.8%, and then the split, rating area 1, rating area 2, the $50 levy that goes across all ratepayers. So just in terms of the difference between RA1 and RA2, other than the water investment, I'm just trying to think, it's quite a big difference in terms of the increase. What's probably driving the gap? Because we're all paying for the water, $50 each. So yeah, that's my question.
Yeah, I could give you quite a complicated answer, I guess.
No, it doesn't have to be complicated.
No, essentially it depends where the costs are falling, what type of costs they are that we're incurring, and how they're split. I mean, we do have a whole range of allocation formula that allocates costs between rating area 1 and rating area 2. I think we loosely talked that through at the workshop, whereby properties in rating area 2 are discounted for some of those costs because they're further away and they don't have access, and so that can throw up those differences between where the costs fall. So whilst rating area 2 might be incurring a proportion of those costs, the proportion of it is being felt more heavily in rating area 1. That's a high level explanation. We could give you a detailed table that shows all that if you like.
I think probably also.
But you're happy that that split is, I guess, equitably levied. That RA1, RA2, they're picking up what they're using across the district.
Yep, so the allocation formula that you have that I just explained, they're all embedded in your revenue and financing policy. So that's your current policy position that was adopted in the long-term plan. And I think at the workshop we did talk about that from time to time it's useful to take a fresh look at those because our context changes, and that would be the appropriate time to do that. And you can make those judgments yourself around those equity questions. Yeah.
Thank you. Councillor Barber, would you be supportive of us having at our next council workshop session an understanding of what, who pays for what in rating area 1 and rating area 2?
Yeah, that'd be good. I mean,
Thank you.
I know water's the biggest probably expense that we have at the moment, but that's been meted evenly across the district. So I'm just trying to get my head around the difference between 5.9 and what the other figure is. 2.9. Yeah.
Okay, so, Mr. Allen, did you want to add anything? We could make an action point for that.
Just a couple of things, Your Worship. Just on the water, so the water levy is, if you're connected to the water supply, you'll be getting that $50 increase, and that's part of the disparity between rating area 1 and rating area 2. Not many of our rating area 2 residents connect to town supplies, so that's sort of a key driver of that. Just on the other issue regarding sort of how all this falls into place, one of the things we are planning on doing, we're just trying to find a time at the moment, and we were going to do it last week, but it got superseded with the budget meeting, is actually have a session with councillors that are interested on sort of financial 101 matters, and part of that we'll be looking at sort of at a high level how our rating system works and falls together.
Thank you. So, and that will give our new councillors the opportunity to understand the difference between the two rating areas is really important for us, and anyone else is welcome to attend and to follow up on just refreshing of what that policy looks like and who's paying and how we're paying. So, Councillor Kerr?
Thank you, Worship. Just on that last subject, I support that. I think it's always good to investigate and understand those ratios in the background. I just wanted to support Councillor Harvey with regard to investing in the CBD. I'm not sure how much money is required, but I was fortunate to be able to understand what the funds were going to be used for, and very, very supportive of that. And how we actually do the change, whether we try and rush and increase it now, which seems inappropriate. It's more to make allowances for it, get educated on it, and then sign it off as an increase later.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Sholem.
Thank you, Worship. Through you, Madam Chair, and I'm not sure who to direct this to. First of all, a clarity question around process. As I understand it, the decisions that come out of today will then form the draft annual plan and consultation document, which will then come back to us. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. I believe that's the 13th of March. Yeah, but you're getting a draft of the consultation document now, so you can make some early comment. Yeah.
Fantastic, thank you. And further to Councillor Harvey's point, I think the thing that I'd potentially share his concern around is the absorption of the Vibrancy Fund to fund CBD activations. I would hate to see that fund essentially disappear because it's being used solely for that purpose. So if we can potentially look at a way of retaining the Vibrancy Fund whilst also funding the CBD activations that are being proposed, that's the best possible outcome that I can see. So if that's best done at that next meeting, that's fine, I support that, but I do want to see that investigation.
Okay, Councillor Dixon.
Thank you, Worship. When I was reading through item 6, there was limited reference to how we're going to promote Toi Toi. We've got a one-off opportunity, and I think it probably needs to be addressed some form of seeding funding to increase the activation. We've got a 2-year plan to actually get that right for the community, and we have to do it now. So I'd like to see reference to that in our plan.
Mr. Allen, thank you. Do we have an existing budget for marketing of Toi Toi for the next 2 years? Thank you.
Yes, we do. So through Your Worship. So what we've been working through, we did it as part of the LTP, acknowledging that Toi Toi would be opening around about this time. Didn't know exactly at that time when it would be opening, but we have forecast that into the long-term plan, and there's been a lot of work going into the annual plan for next year in relation to Toi Toi and what it means for them almost as a new startup sort of entity, building their activity up again from where they've been with nothing. So there's quite an investment in marketing. There's quite an investment in acknowledging that they're starting from zero basically. And you'll remember when the Opera House closed down, we continued the amount of funding that was allocated towards the Opera House complex at the time. at a set level, and we put what was unused into a reserve for future use. That reserve is actually helping us soften the impact of Toi Toi coming on stream again and the extra costs required around that. So.
Which doesn't need any more urgency than next year's annual plan.
I guess just with the long-term plan, we also acknowledge that there would be activity this financial year. So there's quite a bit of money in the budget to activate Toi Toi this financial year to get us through to June, which is what the team's been doing over the last sort of 6 months as they've been building up their numbers. So.
Councillor Redstone.
Thank you, Your Worship. Just wondering, just with the change to the waste cost to ratepayers, $140 more, I'm just wondering how that actually impacts on our percentages or what it comes to in the end. It was just a matter of interest.
Yeah, I haven't got that here, but we did present that at the workshop last week, and that's been loaded onto the hub. So you find it in the hub under workshops, and those presentation slides there that Ashley took you through that show the cumulative impact.
So that's on the total rates.
Correct. Yeah, correct. Yes. Okay.
Thank you. So just to go back to Councillor Harvey's suggestion, whether we include an extra 50k into a marketing budget to make it 100k, there's two things for me, and one is for me to understand we collect a commercial levy from all of the 480 commercial landlords in the CBD, and it's around about 300, I think, goes into the new bid model. I think it's really important that we understand the context of what activation for vibrancy is coming from other areas, what from the bid, and what is coming from council. And so I think that, I think that we probably need to have an understanding of actually not just what we're doing in vibrancy, but what the CBD are investing also in vibrancy. But I'm very happy to take a direction and a recommendation from you, Councillor Harvey, or we leave it to include it in the March plan when we bring this back for going out for consultation. So could I have some direction, please?
Sorry, I'm just going to the, just looking to see how we can add it to the recommendations that it's included. Because at the moment, it's just saying to adopt and bring the plan for the draft. So really, it's to include it in the draft.
So we'll bring it back to the next March meeting, so before we go out in consultation.
Yeah. So I think, yes. I suppose to get others across the line to that, though, they would need to be privy to the presentation that we also had in one way or other. So it's just how we incorporate that prior, so that when we are making the call, we seem to be advocates because we've heard the presentation. Those that haven't need to be given that opportunity as well.
Thank you. Councillor Kerr.
Thank you, Your Worship. I agree with the proposed course of action. Having seen it, it's got my heart. I think we should go. But if I hadn't seen the presentation, I couldn't justify spending an extra 50,000 without knowing where and why, and any wraparound protection around how the money's going to be spent. So I support bring it back in March, and before then have an opportunity to share the concept with the Western Council. Okay, so we put that in as an action. You'd be comfortable with that? For everybody to understand that, and then bring it to the March meeting. Councillor Sholem?
Thank you, Your Worship. Included in that as well, could we please also have information brought back for the full council to understand what the Vibrancy Fund specifically has been used for in the past? So things like ArtSync, fringe listings and whatnot, and to see whether or not those organisations are likely to still need access to that fund. If none of them intend to draw from it, then it may make sense that that gets absorbed and used for the activation, in which case we don't need a further $50,000. However, if our community does continue to need access to that fund, then I think we should look at trying to find the extra $50,000 through this mechanism.
I agree with you. So you're comfortable just that we have an action staff with that, or you want a further recommendation? No? action. All right, that's very good. So any further comments on the draft annual plan? Do I have it? Councillor Barber?
Yeah, no, I just, I guess the point that I was trying to make at the last, what I said before about the rates increase for RA1, RA2. I live in RA2, so my rates are going down according to this, against the forecast. But my water's in RA1. And we know that RA1 is where people are really struggling in our urban centres. You know, they're struggling to put a roof over their head. So that's why I'm just, I'm pinpointing on that fact.
Thank you. So we'll have that workshop and we'll be able to fully understand that split, that balance in the policy. Thank you. Do I have a mover, please? Thank you, Councillor Sholem. Second, Councillor Dixon. No further comments or questions? All those in favour, please say aye. Aye. Any against? Thank you, that's carried. Item number 7, our budget implications for delivering safe drinking water to our community. Welcome, Mr. Hanson. Did you have any further comments or anything to add to your report?
Thank you, Your Worship. Good councillors. I think the report we've taken is read on the basis of the discussion we had last week's council workshop on the 13th of February. Just to highlight, this paper is focusing on 3 specific significant elements of the drinking water capital program, being small communities, Brimley and Eastbourne. And as stated at the workshop, I've attempted to give more clarity and detail about the requirements of those 3 particular programs. I'm also aware of some of the queries that came to you councillors regarding this paper built on the 10th of September 2019 paper that dealt with substantial budget issues, size and progress matters. And so on that basis, we scheduled a follow-up workshop on the 3rd of March, which has a particular focus on the Eastbourne Brimley project, specifically Eastbourne as one of the last major components of this work program. We can also step back on the journey to the 10th of September timeline and then move forward with the associated work, particularly the 2 major projects Brimley and Eastbourne. So perhaps happy to take questions rather than troll through the details that I'll refer to in each of the sections. Hopefully,
Thank you, Mr. Hanson. Any questions, councillors? This is where a lot of our ratepayers' funding is going, and a very, very important piece of work for our community. I have Councillor Watkins, Councillor Sholem, Councillor Barber.
Thank you, Your Worship. Graham, I wonder if you could just report on the test bores that have been drilled at Brimley. Is there anything you can tell us about water quantity?
Yes, Councillor, and work is ongoing as we speak with drilling work for associated geotech works, but specifically the investigation bores have been drilled associated with old construction bores for those sites. Pleasingly, we found what we were looking for, and possibly not too surprising on the basis of not that distant from our current Brimley supplies. And so both in terms of water quality and water quantity content, we found what we were looking for at the depth we were expecting. And in addition to that, we also found favourable records that rates to be flexible within that side of the
Thank you, Your Worship. Through you, would it be fair to say that time is somewhat our enemy when it comes to cost?
I'll certainly be banging that drum for the time that I've been here. Pleasingly to report that we've just closed the tender for a small section of pipeline associated with the small communities, and that is, the correct term, somewhat under budget. Under budget to an extent that perhaps gives us some place to the market. It is certainly not calling but associated with pipe related works. There appears to be some more interest in competition, and that's particular projects that we're looking at. Which you did right time and cost area, and we can certainly cost that gone down and we find we've been I think bring these projects on stream.
Thank you for that. And in that case, in the interest of getting out of the way of time, I'm happy to move the recommendations.
Happy to second.
Yeah, no, just along the same lines, you know, the difference, the variance in cost between 10 September, 20 Feb, you know, that's a year, and we're looking at a 12 and a half million variance. I mean, is that in line with general project management, whether that be roads or, you know, infrastructure? Because, gee, that just seems ridiculous.
Thank you, councillor. Look, the bulk of it is explained by the absolute refined detail we're down to now. And again, not looking to leave this at the feet of budgets that were established in 2017, but those budgets were definitely established with very little information as to what the specific elements of this project would be. And that became evident right at the start as we continued with modelling, actually identified sites, went through a substantial site selection process, and therefore, and I've referred to it quite often about the site-specific elements. And they've taken the primary toll on these budgets. The further element associated with that is we are simply in a very buoyant, red-hot civil contracting and water market. For some reason, the water element of this, and what I mean by that is the pipe and pipe laying, pumping elements are the areas that we're finding the most pressure and variance around budgets. Civil earthworks as an earthworks and more traditional civil contracting appears manageable with water-related projects. I can only assume that's on the basis, A, the whole country's grappling with this issue. I suppose, B, hopefully we're in the game and we're committed and we're finding contractors to do our work. But I think as we look forward and other councils have to commit and get on with this work, even within our region, I can see those pressures continuing to build.
Just a follow-up to that, and just looking at our small settlement water supplies, you got a priority list 1 to 6. I see why mine was number 6. But have you worked that out just in terms of I guess the need the community has, or is it based on cost or complexity? How did you get that priority list?
It's probably been a number of those things, councillor. First and foremost, it has been a priority on Hamoana because that's had a profile around quite specific quality issues. While Pātiki not far behind, some elements of it relate to our ease to get in and do the work, i.e. that it's either on our land or in close proximity to where we can make decisions and move on. The priority is actually still quite fluid, and again, if we strike some challenges in one of those particular communities, we may well move to the other. So it's certainly not a priority list on picking winners and losers as such. It's really an assessment around what we deem to be the most immediate need, our ability to deliver them as quickly as we can, and also leaving the opportunity within the contract to actually flip around and move the projects if necessary.
Jeff, would you like to add?
Yeah, I suppose I just wanted to sort of reflect on Mr. Hanson's points that whilst I think it was a pretty good guesstimate back in 2017 when thinking about the water program and costs, and I suppose when I look at it 3 years on and reflect that, if you put it in, I guess, the scope changes that have occurred as we've got into this, the site-specific technical requirements, and the fact that we're over half the way through our in terms of completion of our water improvement program, and got a lot more certainty now around the last remaining components in terms of small communities and our 2 big water storage. I actually think we've done a pretty reasonable, or more than a reasonable job, and I just want to acknowledge Graham Hanson, Craig Thew and the team, and increasingly what we have now is other local authorities kind of turning up to say, hey, can you tell us about how you've done this? And I suppose as I reflect on my old hometown, who have got water and sewer pipes collapsing everywhere and stuff pouring into Oriental Parade, I actually, notwithstanding, I get that it's a $12 million change from an estimate in 2017 to a long way through our water improvement program and a $12 million variance. When you think about the scope changes and the market that we've been operating in, I think we've got a lot to collectively be pretty proud of.
Thank you. I just question around the recommendation E about requests for external funding. Chief Executive, when would you be able to come back to us with an idea of whether we do qualify, whether we can access some external funding to support the impact on rates and the impact on the community and the extra money required to finish the water program?
Thank you, Worship. I will defer to Mr. Thew, who is running that process for us.
Through you, Your Worship, I'll need to email back to councillors just with that date. I don't have off the top of mind when those funding cut-off dates are due, but I'll get those and flick them around councillors.
Councillor Kerr, Councillor Harvey?
Thank you, Your Worship. Firstly, just to reiterate, thank you, Mr. Thew, thank you, Mr. Hanson and your team. I'm sure we've caused you to have moments of big breaths. I have a question regarding community engagement. You briefly cover it off under Frimley. I was just wondering if you could expand a bit on the closer community and engagement you've had with them.
Sorry, so I understood you correctly in terms of the closer community meaning?
Are they comfortable? Are they hearing the hair out? Have you spoken with them? What have the responses been? What does the school think, etc.?
So and certainly since the 10th of September, sorry, that reminded me of one of the significant papers was determining a communication strategy and a way forward around the various jobs and sites we'll be working on. And particularly Frimley as an example, which we are stepping into formal publicly notified consenting processes in the coming week. We are simply waiting for the date of notification that the application details are in. And as part of that, we have undertaken a range of community engagement approaches, both from the immediate neighbours, immediately affected neighbours, all of the major schools within the very near proximity, the more immediate suburb as an example, and then the wider Hastings urban community. So we've applied that sort of layering or tiering approach that we discussed back in September 2019. And thus far it appears to be working well enough on the basis that we've got into the formal application process with people understanding what we're doing. The ones that we've engaged with, we've sort of used as a bit of a litmus test about, have we done it adequately? Have we provided enough detail there? Perhaps dabbling in that sensitive area of the formal consenting process, which is where people have their more formal say as well. So we're walking that fine line between trying to take the community with us in the best constructive way, but not being seen to be coercing it through what will be both formal notification processes, both for Eastbourne and Frimley. So to date, we believe we've done well to the extent that we don't have any significant issues that are worrying us. And I hope we haven't given that the kiss of death as we step into formal consent notification processes, but we believe we're well positioned.
Thank you. Thank you. Councillor Kerr. Oh, Councillor Harvey.
Thank you. Similar question, different community. Eastbourne, we've done the consultation and stuff with Frimley. How far through the process are we with consultation with the community in and around here?
Thank you, Councillor, and certainly at the same time as determining the community consultation approach that we firmed up with Frimley, we actually applied the same initial approach to the Eastbourne related sites, so the immediate adjoining neighbours have been spoken to associated with the detail and the position we were in September 2019. And also any information that's certainly gone to the wider community is referenced both Eastbourne and Frimley in terms of the sites that we're committed to and the resolution committed to in September. So our discussions with the Eastbourne community by way of the immediate neighbours has been the same as Frimley in terms of initial contact. At this point in time, and it's the intent of the workshop on the 3rd of March, is to confirm a position around the revised detail for Eastbourne and then step back into a more formal additional community consultation process.
Thank you. Just secondary to that, then I would be strongly in favour of a similar process to what you did do at Frimley, which was very public. I mean, those were advertised. Anyone could come along to those. There were conversations around both sites anyway, at that Frimley one, but I think it's really important that, in this one, that there's not as much sort of trees and stuff around, will be a lot more visible. Yeah. So I think it's important that we have a locked-in consultation.
And thank you, Councillor, and absolutely coincidentally this morning we had a meeting and a discussion on that specific issue and perhaps developing a bit more of a marketing strategy around Eastbourne with what's on our mind, but again, something we were wanting to expand on the 3rd of March. But absolutely more than willing to apply the same rationale that appears to have been successful at this point in Frimley.
Thank you. Councillor Barber?
Yeah, thanks, Graham. Just in terms of the Eastbourne water tank, how far down the thinking game are you guys? I mean, are we talking a similar type of a look and approach to Frimley? You know, yeah, I know you can't be specific. You might not be able to be that specific, but I mean, are we talking that kind of ballpark?
I think that, that there's going to be a workshop on the 3rd of March, you said, Graham, and all of that detail will be brought to that meeting, to that workshop for councillors to go through, thrash out and understand what it could look like, the site implications, is it the best site, all those things to eliminate and alleviate any of your concerns about storage. Just for your information to share with you, I'd been invited to two Rotary clubs in the last 2 weeks to talk about our priorities as a council. And both of them, when I presented, and I did a PowerPoint presentation, and both of them, the question that was asked at question time was, we support storage, we understand we're in a drought, we know we need to collect and store water, where are they going to go? So it was two different Rotary clubs both asked that question. So it is something that is very important to our community, and so we need to look at that really, really carefully on the 3rd of March. Thank you. No further comments. So this is this is for a budgetary requirement for water for the future. And that's what this paper and its recommendations are reflecting. No further questions or comments? I have a mover and a seconder. I'll put that. All those in favour, please say aye. Aye. Any against? Thank you, that's carried. Item number 8, very warm welcome to Anna and Rowan. And can I just say that, and having been a councillor for a number of years, this is an amazing piece of work that has gone on with huge amount of, in fact, you probably looked a bit different when this started, Rowan. I know. And all those appeals that you carefully and worked through, one at a time. So this has been a massive journey. So, you know, we're required under the Act to look at our district plan every 10 years. And you guys have been working carefully through those appeals. They were challenging appeals, but it's making sure that, you know, and things come and change through our plan that we need to continually look at through a district plan and provisions that we make. So welcome to you both. This is an awesome direction here. Anything you'd like to add to the paper?
Through your worship, no, I think it's basically giving effect to a legislative decision, gives effect to a legislative requirement, so happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Councillor Shom, Councillor Kerr.
Thank you, Worship, and thank you to the team. What a huge effort, huge amount of work that's gone into this. I'm just very happy to move.
Thank you, Councillor Shom. Councillor Kerr.
Once again, I'd just like to reiterate what you said, Your Worship. This was one big ride, and it was one that I managed to jump off the walker just before it launched into the sea. Sadly, I had a conflict in a small piece. The workload, the input, the hours, the staff time has been amazing, and to get to this point has been incredible. I just have one little request, and that's the word Wāhi-tonga on the last line of the recommendations is spelt correctly, please.
Councillor Harvey.
Just happy to second.
Thank you, Councillor Harvey. Any further comments? Thank you. Big round of applause. Please say aye. Any against? Thank you, that's carried. The request to vest Aotearoa Parks under the Reserves Act of 1977. Welcome. We've got Rachel, thank you. And Councillor, you'll remember from our submissions from the Rauruka community how important this was to them. So we've got to that stage now of being able to implement and make these changes. This Evatt Park particularly was gifted to the people of Hastings by the Evatt family, and it is very important that it's protected for the future. So thank you for your paper. Thank you for the following up on this reserve management plan for our parks in the Rauruka area. Okay, would you like to add anything?
I don't think I need to add anything, thank you, other than this report, as your worship says, actions a resolution of council following that significant public consultation that we did with the Rauruka community and adopting the Rauruka Parks Reserve Management Plan. So happy to take any questions.
And just to follow up from one of my questions at the Rotary on Tuesday night was, why does it take council so long to do things? What in particular, says the Mayor? Well, when are we going to get our Rauruka Parks put into the Reserved Act? And I said, on Thursday. It was very good to be able to say that because I'd read my paper. Right, Councillor Travis.
Having been part of the very successful consultation that happened in Rauruka Park on Saturday, would be my great pleasure to move.
Thank you, Councillor Sholem.
Thank you, Worship. I would be very happy to second also. However, I have one little question that won't stop me seconding, which is, can you provide a little bit more information between the difference between local purpose reserve versus recreation reserve?
Certainly. So recreation reserves are typically given to our parks and reserves where recreation is the primary purpose. So that's like Cornwall Park, Brimley Park, typically sports fields. Local purpose reserve classification is given to our reserves where there is a local purpose community feel about them, and so that's why we've chosen that for Evatt Park in particular, because it's got the Wheel Guide Hall on it and the tennis club.
And if I may follow up, am I correct in reading the report and saying that both classifications give it equal protection under the Reserves Act? Thank you.
Thank you. So I have a mover and a seconder. I'll put that. All those in favour, please say aye. Any against? Thank you, that's carried. Thank you very much, Rachel and the team. Item number 10, the CBD parking controls. Welcome John and Mel. Do you want to tell us how the new parking meters are going in town? Are people managing them?
Yes, they are.
Some people have had to stop and ask if they need a hand.
Yep. There's been the odd grumpy customer out there that's wanted to know why we were changing them, but when you explain that the other ones are at their life end and they're basically not making them anymore, they're pretty good with it. And also the fact that it's quite a good look down there. It was quite amazing when the meters were all in, how much of a sort of a wall it looked like. And it's really opened it up quite nicely. And that brings me on to this report, time zone parking. Basically, it doesn't change anything down there. It just gives us the ability to put our signs in, probably not as cluttered as if we didn't have time zones. So that's the purpose of this, is just to set time zones. So everything remains the same.
Thank you. Councillor Sholem.
Thank you, Worship. I found it fascinating reading in the report that we had our time limit parking from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. and our paid parking from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. I'm glad to see there's a recommendation basically to get consistency, so very happy to move the recommendations.
Thank you, Councillor Sholem. Councillor Dixon.
Yeah, thank you. More than happy to second, but just a question from a resident, really. Where do I park when my hair appointment lasts more than 2 hours? It's not mine.
King Street.
Yeah, in one of the 3 off-street car parks.
Thank you. Good. I'm pleased you're going to look after that one for us, councillor Dixon. That's great. So I have a mover and a seconder. No further comments or questions? The seconder was councillor Kerr. All those in favour, please say aye. Aye. Any against? Thank you, that's carried. Item number 11, parking controls. Mel, thank you.
It's nothing contentious, just everyday process that people are requesting. So happy to take any questions.
Thank you, Mel. Any questions on item number 11, parking controls? Councillor Kerr.
Thank you, Worship. Mel, how do disability mobility card holders know they have got such a grace time, double the time?
That's normally in the information pack they get. CSC recommend half an hour.
Yes.
But we being so generous, council, have given the mobility users double the time.
Okay.
So yeah, the guys inform them on the street as well when they're asked.
Lovely.
Okay.
Thank you. Happy to move. Oh.
Thank you. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Redstone. Any further questions or comment? Put that, all those in favour, please say aye. Any against? Thank you, that's carried. Item number 12. So this is our committees, our subcommittees, our joint committees, our external organisations, additions, and a massive piece of work. Getting everybody's aspirations and priorities in the right spot. Okay, Councillor Sholem.
Thank you, Worship. May I move an amendment under other committees and advisory groups where it lists the members on the Landmarks Advisory Group. Currently, the deputy chair role is left blank. I'm wondering if I could make the suggestion that that be Councillor Travers, since she has already previously assisted me with that.
Councillor Travers, you happy with that appointment? Thank you. Councillor Kerr. Jackie, we got that noted, thank you.
I'm just racing to try and find
it.
But, HPUDs, Your Worship, I understand that you and I sit on HPUDs, and I'd like to propose an amendment to include Councillor Corbyn. He's expressed an interest in this.
Yes, thank you. Very good appointment. Thank you, Councillor Corbyn. You happy with that appointment?
Very happy, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Got that, Jackie.
We also need an appointment for the Joint Alcohol Strategy Advisory Group. We did have councillors Barber and Corbyn down to do that, but having sought advice, there could be a potential conflict for district licensing committee members, so it would be good to have a couple of volunteers who weren't involved in district licensing committee.
So that's a joint committee with Napier?
Yes.
Yes. So, Councillor Kerr?
Having been on this committee in the past, it's not onerous. It's you come together as required once every 6 years. So it's been a while, but it's not onerous.
All the time between.
So could I have somebody offer to join the alcohol joint committee? Thank you, Councillor Dixon. Right. Okay. All right, thank you. Well, that's awesome. Councillor Harvey.
Thank you. I just noticed with the ambassador roles and Councillor Nixon being ambassador for transport, and therefore looking at what other transport ones he's on, and he's not regional transport committee, and that's obviously you are the appointee and Councillor Kerr is the alternate. Is that how it works? Or I'm just wondering if he is the ambassador.
He is the alternate.
He is the alternate on there.
Yes. So he'll be attending the next one because both Councillor Kerr and myself can't attend.
So are you saying therefore there's 3?
Yes.
Not 2?
Yes, because we can't attend next time, and so he attended for us last time as well.
So should that be noted somewhere where it says 1 Hastings District Councillor, 1 alternate, and the appointments are Mayor Hazelhurst and Deputy Mayor?
Yes, we'll put 2 alternates. Thank you, Jackie, with Councillor Nixon.
Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor O'Keefe.
It's just the Here Taunga Takoto no committee. I did the behest of yourself, step down. But it's been suggested that I should be back on there. A couple of councillors. Oh, no, that's okay.
Sorry, councillor Keith.
All good, all good. I'm used to being ignored.
Never.
That's a new two-year.
The Heretonga Takoto Noa Committee.
Yes.
Yeah, it'd be suggested that I should be back on there.
Oh, I see,
Yeah.
right.
I'm quite keen to do that, actually.
So
What do you think? What do you?
let me just see, how many do we have there at the
We've
moment?
got too many, I know
What
that.
page is it? Oh, 72, okay. So how many councillors are under the terms of reference? So there's only 5 councillors there, so councillor O'Keefe could be there. Yes, but I'm on all the standing committees.
Sorry,
I'm on all
I
of
need
them.
to
I'm
explain
separate.
that committee has 6 councillors and 6 tangata whenua members. So if we want more councillors, that would give councillors a majority. We would need to go back to the committee to ask if that was okay.
I think they count the mayor.
Yeah, so that's 6. But not on that committee, because there's an equality of both parties, councillors and tangata whenua members.
So can I hear from others, please? So I've heard from councillor Keith, it's been suggested to him by councillors that he goes back onto that committee. We're happy to sort it out. Anne, councillor Redstone?
Thank you, I'm more than happy to stay on it. I think I need to as part of my chair role with the eco districts. But yeah, there might be, there's people not in the room that might be interested in being or not being on it. So at the meantime, while I've just got the floor, can I just say, I see there's a vacancy on HDC Tangata Whenua Wastewater Joint Committee that again I think would probably fit really well with what I'm doing. And on the Museums Trust Committee, Sophie's very keen to go on that, and I'm just as keen to come off, so.
Thank you. All a bit of fine tuning. That's done. All good. Councillor Barber.
Support Councillor Keith's karo to. You on the last time? Were you on the last time? Yeah. To return to the committee. I think. Yeah. I think all committees, councillors can make a contribution. However, the Heretaunga Takoto Noa committee, if you have a knowledge of issues and have been in the trenches with issues around mana whenua Māori, I just think that you're ready to have those debates at the time without, you know what I mean. You just have the experience to contribute straight away to those debates. So that's why, and Henare is, after Kevin, probably the most experienced councillor that we have in council. So, I would support him returning to the committee.
Thank you.
I'll leave it to others to decide who should pop off the end, but,
Thank you. Councillor Barber, can I make a suggestion that Councillor Corbyn becomes a member, but not a voting right member? So, like thinking of succession and planning here, Paletti and so Councillor Ollie and Councillor Keith are very much working in mentoring. And I just wonder if you would wish to attend these meetings, but learn about the mana whenua issues that Councillor Barber has just talked about, but actually can contribute but don't have that voting rights. Because what I want is more the merrier. I want everybody who wants to be there to be there. What we've got is some rules around 6 and 6. So, and often there will be a time when they won't get a quorum. Now, that has happened many times in the last 3 years as I've been on this committee. So there will be opportunities to co-opt somebody to be part of this. So how do you feel about that?
If it's acceptable with the committee, I'd be very happy to do that.
Mhm.
I think it's important that Hanare is on there and does give that continuity and experience that he's got, and also the insight that he's got. So if that is a option to accommodate that, I'd be very happy to do that.
Just going to ask, before we carry on taking more thoughts, Chief Executive, to see if there's any different arrangements that could be made.
And Councillor Barber, you might have a view on this, but having just had a workshop with Heretaunga Tākutu Noa, and all of the committees that they want to take part on, one of the other options is just to go 7 and 7, and have 7 councillors and seek another tangata whenua representative.
Okay. Your views on that? Councillor Redstone?
Thank you.
Views on...
We actually talked about terms of reference, which haven't really been ratified yet, so we can change the terms of reference at the first meeting next week to 7-7, and that's probably sensible to make sure we get a good turnout at every meeting. I guess we've got good coverage. That's one option.
So we need a recommendation from this committee to recommend to the committee. So the council has to recommend that change of terms of reference, okay?
Okay.
So we would need to add to...
And just the other thing while I'm standing here, it's been pointed out to me that there are, on the Tangata Whenua Wastewater Joint Committee, the vacancy isn't for one of us, actually, that we've already got 5 councillors, so...
Thank you.
I bow out.
Oh, Councillor Barber.
Yeah, so that would make the total, what's that, 40? I mean, that's an option. I mean, do we, I'll just ask Dr. Graham if there were other mana whenua candidates that had their hand in the, to come onto the committee, because that has been an issue in the past, is identifying and you know, freeing up people to come on. So easy for councillors to come on, but might not be as easy for mana whenua, depending on the situation.
Your worship. Yes, so there's, it was discussed recently, 2 weeks ago at our retreat, and initially around maybe up to 8, which is probably getting too many because it's starting to council 16 members. So 7 and 7 would be smaller than 8 and 8, and as Councillor Barber's question, response to this question was that in terms of the expressions of interest received, is potentially to go back amongst to reconvene the panel. We considered the expressions we come in, we came through the system to so there is the potential to go down there and revisit and recontact those people who were unsuccessful.
I mean, do we have the coverage of the treaty settlement groups with the current numbers that we have? Or would we end up having 2 from Heretaunga, you know?
Excuse me, sorry for interrupting. Could Dr. Graham, would you mind going up to the podium just so for live streaming purposes people can hear what you've got to say?
Oh, she's good.
Yes, so there are, in terms of the coverage of our post-settlement governance entities for treaty groups, we don't have full coverage. We have coverage of the district, but not specifically those 6 entities that make up the whole district, because there are overlaps, as you'll know, through our Tai Whenua and our settlement groups. So the lands are covered, but not specifically every organisation. But there is the potential to as I said, reconvene the panel with your worship, and is an easy process to undertake, should we go down that path.
So can I just focus us on that process? How do councillors feel about 7 and 7 and changing, and us making a recommendation to the joint committee to change? Can I have views on that, please? Councillor Kerr, Councillor Barber?
Just listening to the korero, I think we should be referring back to the group, the terms of reference. I don't feel comfortable making a decision saying it should be 6 or 7. I think we have a recommendation that the membership gets referred back to Heretaunga, Te Kotonoa, to make the decision, and they then recommend it back to us, whether it's 6, 6, 7, 7, 8, 8.
Thank you. Others? Councillor Barber?
My gut feel is just to leave it as at the number that that has been interviewed from Mana Whenua side of things. I mean, you know, reconvening a panel and then going back out, I just see it as a added administration that we probably don't need. I think 6 and 6 is numbers wise is fine, and then you have a risk of just getting too big. So that would be my gut feel on it. That we just leave it 6, 6 and drop one of the councillors off.
Okay, so we've got two schools of thought here that I just need some direction on.
Yeah,
Councillor
no,
Corbyn?
at the meeting, we did discuss the size, and the consensus was 6 and 6, and I support that.
Okay.
But if the option that you put forward before is acceptable, I'd be happy to do that. And if it just sits at 6 and 6 with no one else, I'd accept that as well.
Thank you. So just in terms of having an alternate, Jackie, you know, often I've been to Māori Joint and there's people that haven't attended. You know, we can't, you know, sometimes we don't have a full contingent of 12 people, often actually. So could we have an alternate? Okay, so Ellen, would you be comfortable with that option? Thank you very much. Councillor Dixon. Okay. Okay, very good. All right, so that completes, Councillor Sholem.
Thank you, Your Worship. Just one further thing to raise. We are really lucky in our district to have two wonderful business associations, one in Hastings and one in Havelock North. And whilst I enjoy working with Councillor Harvey on the Hastings Business Association as a board advisor, I am still concerned that we have a single rep sitting on both of those organisations, or associations rather, that are, for intents and purposes, in direct competition. So I would like to suggest that potentially Councillor Harvey looks at choosing one, whether that's the Havelock North or the Hastings, and then we bring on another councillor to fill the other.
I actually we haven't had a conversation about this.
It's something that I raised when we were first talking about appointments, so it's not out of the blue.
Okay.
But since we are looking at formally committing to this, I feel we need to address it.
Right. Okay.
Your Worship, to help, if people feel put on the spot, I think it should just stay as it is. We can bring the recommended amendments, post discussions back to the next appropriate committee to sign off.
Yeah, I'm very happy with that.
So
you happy with that, Councillor Harvey?
Can I move a recommendation then that we further discuss this and it comes back, that particular?
You like to add a recommendation?
Yes.
Action point.
Or just an action? Yeah, that's good.
As long as it means that it will come back for discussion, because as I said, I've raised it previously and it hasn't gone past, hence I'm standing up today.
Right, okay. Good as gold. So, Councillor Kerr, you got anything to add? We've got it as an action. We'll have a catch up about that.
I'd like to move the recommendations, and noting B needs to change to adopt the amended list of appointees.
Thank you. I have just before we go and have a seconder for that, there's just one more, the Risk and Assurance Committee, and this is just bedding down stuff. You know, this is making sure we've got everybody in the right spot. It was originally missed off that we had a member of the Māori Joint Committee on that Risk and Audit Committee. And so we would just like to include that as a nomination, that one of the Māori Joint members is a member of the Risk and Audit. You happy to second that? Yep, thank you. Okay, thank you. So we just add that in. Thank you, Jackie. All right, so that's everything covered off. Yay. All right. So we have a mover and a seconder. All those in favour, please say aye. Aye. Any against? Thank you. That is adopted. Well done, everyone. Thank you to the team. Right. Number 13, item 13 is items under action. So if we, Jackie, would you like to just take us through those? Thank you, John. Thank you.
The action points are listed on page 82 of the agenda. I don't really have anything to add.
So most are due back next month. We have got the council airport visit even this month, and everything else is on here to be addressed in due course. Any questions? Any comments? Vote from the chair. Second day, Councillor Shodham. All those in favour, please say aye. Aye. Any against? Thank you. That's carried. Updated meeting schedule changes. Item number 14, and I think you've got a new printout.
Yes, so there is some further amendments which came up for. I've handed it out, so yeah. So there's further changes. Strategy and policy from the afternoon to the morning, and the operations and monitoring committee dates have changed, which to better fit in with the financial reporting.
Thank you, Jackie. Thank you, Councillor Kerr. Councillor Travis, second. Any further questions about the changes of the meeting schedule dates? No, I put that. All those in favour, please say aye. Aye. Any against? Thank you, that's carried. Item number 15.
4 o'clock.
We will do it 4 o'clock. So we'll come back to that, item 15. Now we move into item number 18. Now this is a recommendation to exclude the public. Before we change and look at this, I would like to have the group leaders or the chief executive to go through those items and discuss the reasons they're in PX. Thanks. And then we will look at moving the recommendation. Thank you. Who would like to take us through? Chief?
Yeah, I think we'll just get each of the GMs that response on the paper. So we'll start with you, Mr. O'Shaughnessy.
Good afternoon. The reasoning essentially for this item being in committee, we're in the middle of negotiations with the contractors I'm talking about in this paper, and we're just trying to ensure that we get the contracts completed and have the ability to be able to negotiate with the three parties. So we're virtually there, but we haven't quite completed that.
Yes.
Through your worship, so the reason this report is PX is that there's some commercially sensitive information from the purchaser, potential purchaser of the Omaronu gas landfill plant. And I guess to protect any negotiations we may have as well.
Thank you. City Centre.
Through your worship, primarily very similar to the earlier, this paper potentially heads into negotiations and agreements with for a land purchase, obviously for council to keep its negotiating position safe.
Orchard Road Depot.
Through your worship, these are just sensitive commercial negotiations on behalf of council. It's appropriate that they be held in a public excluded session.
Move on, council, to discuss or decide whether these go into public excluded. Can I just give our Group Manager, Mr Craig Cameron, a very warm welcome back, and our condolences for the hardship and the hard time that you've had over the last couple of months. So it is wonderful to have you back, and we look forward to 2020 being much brighter for you. So now we will return the recommendation to exclude the public. Any questions or comments, please? Councillor Sholem.
Happy to move, that we move into PX.
Thank you. Thank you. Councillor Watkins, a second. Any other further questions or comments from anyone? Thank you. I'll put that. All those in favour, please say aye. Aye. Any against? Thank you. That's carried. Now we turn our cameras off.
We used to have a precinct.
We used to have a what?
Swearing in Kaumātua.
Yeah, we should. Absolutely. Why haven't you been sworn in?
No, it doesn't get sworn in.
No.
It's just, because you're Kaumātua, you're already...
You don't need to be sworn in.
Instead of precinct.
Kia ora, kia ora. Please be seated. Kia ora, kia ora. Everyone sit down, make yourself at home. You can be a councillor, you can be a public, you can sit wherever you like. Papa Jerry, you're setting the proceedings? Thank you.
Opening with karakia.
Okay. Opening with a karakia? Yeah. Tēnā koutou katoa, no mai, haere mai, piki mai, kaki mai. It is my absolute pleasure to welcome our new members of Henetonga Takatanoa Māori Joint Committee. And I was going to say councillor, ex-councillor Mr. George Lyons, to be sworn in at this afternoon's official occasion. It's wonderful to have you here. I'm incredibly excited about this committee and the new direction, the new focus, the new people that are going to help us come together and make sure that we are an inclusive and functioning and awesome council. So it is just lovely to have you here today. You are a hugely important part of everything that we do in our day-to-day business to represent our 80,000 community members in our Hastings Heretonga district. So a very warm welcome, no mai, haere mai. I now invite our kaumātua Papa Jerry to start us with a karakia.
Kia ora ngā tata. A tēnā koutou, te iwi, no mai hara mai. Kei te tautoko e mōna mihi, tēnei tō tātou rangatira a Sandra mō tēnei wa. I mihi kia koutou, kei roto tēnei tō tātou whare. O te kaunihera mō tēnei wa. O reira, he timatatanga mō tēnei tō tātou hui, e whakawātea, whakarite, tēnei te karakia mō tēnei wa. Ai tō mātou matu I te rangi, e whakamoi me te e whakawheta ki a koe. Kei te tūmai ki tēnei tō ponono, te koropiko nei ki te tūmai, kei mihi mo tēnei ki a koutou. Hei rea pā, hei runga mo tēnei, ho mai tō wairua. Ho mai tō wairua me nā kitanga, me ngā tangata hau, nau kua waihine hau, mo tēnei te mahi mo tēnei wa. Nā kitanga mo tēnei te kaunihera, he awhi he tiki nei ki a rātou. Nā kitanga mo tēnei tō tātou rangatira Sandra mo tēnei wa, kai whakahaere ki tēnei tō tātou hui. He tūwhera nei ki tēnei tō tātou hui, he te timatatanga nā te kupu, nā te atua, he te kapi, he te kupu whakamutunga mo tēnei wa. Reire pā I inoi nei ki a koe, a inga wākato. Nā kitanga ki tēnei nā kaumātua pakake tamariki mokopuna, hoki I loto te hoi pera te kaya, kei te tino māwiwi e ngā tūroro mo tēnei wa. Nā kitanga ki tēnei te pani e noho I ngā marae maha, o he te taunga puta noa ki Ngāti Kahununu, mai atu ki Aotearoa, ki te ao. Nā kitanga mo tēnei ki a rata. Rere pā ki runga ki tēnei tō wairua, tō me nā kitanga, e awhi e teki nei ki tō tātou hui huinga mo tēnei rā. Ko I hukraiti, kai whakahora, ake. Āmene. Kia ora tata.
Kia ora, everyone. That must be our sixth waiata that we have sung today, or maybe seventh. Seventh. Thank you, Councillor Sears. So it's been an incredible day today, and this is an amazing finish for our day, because what I hold here is a declaration for members to be part of what we do for our community, and it also, as we opened with the Prime Minister, our incredible Toi Toi facility this morning, our Hawke's Bay Arts and Events Centre, and that recognises that the opportunities, the hope, and a place for our people to be able to celebrate and enjoy the arts. So this is the conclusion of a very amazing day for us all, and I thank everyone for sharing it, and I thank the councillors for recognising the importance of this very significant time. And councillors have done this, they have already signed their declarations, and now it is your opportunity. And last June we had the change where our council very, very carefully considered where we could take our relationships to make sure that we were representing all of our people in everything that we do. And we came together in June last year, and it was a challenging time for us. And because there are people that probably don't agree with us, and that's their choice and that's their view. But we sat here and we debated as good democratic process, and out of that came a very, very strong support to ensure that we have good Māori representation in all our work programs, and all our strategies, and all our policy, and everything that we do, that we are representing the Treaty of Waitangi and having the Māori voice come to our table. And yes, you can try and find the right people and shoulder tap them to stand for council, but most importantly, it's having the right people at the table to help us make the wisest decisions for our community. So it is with great pleasure now that I call upon our Māori representation to come forward and to sign their declaration to be part of us. And I'll start with Mare Apatu. Oh. So there's English or te reo?
Yep, okay. Te reo?
Yes.
Okay. Right, kauni here rohi o heri taunga te whakapuakanga o ngā mema. Ko ahau ko Mare Apatu. E o ati ana ka whai ahau I te pono me te tō keke I runga hoki I te mutunga ke mai nei o aku pukenga. O aku whakatau hoki kia whakatūtuki kia mahi, anō hoki I te mana whakahaere. Te mana whakatau me ngā momo mahi kua uhia ki runga I ahau, kia whiwhi paenga mō te takiwa o here taunga. Hei mema o te Committee Tūnga Māori o here taunga, takoto no. Ai hoki ki te Ture Kāwanatanga te Tai Ao 2002, ki te Ture Kāwanatanga a Tai Ao whakapai me te hui 1987, me e tahi Ture anō rānei. He me whakau tēnei, I tēri taunga I tēnei rā, te rua te kau o ngā hui rangaru I te tau rua mano rua te kau. Kia ora tātou.
Kia ora.
Cool.
Would you like to say any words?
I'll just briefly say, well, tuatahi, kei te honore I au. Kei te honore I au, ka tū kei moi a koutou tātou nei whānau. I roto I te kauniheri tēnei wā. He mihi kau aki ki a koe Papa Jerry, I tuake tēnei wāhanga me te karakia. Ka tū ki te rangi, me ki te ngā kupu kia whakamāmata haere, te huarahi kei moi a mātou ngā kānohi, ngā tangata hau. Nō reira, he mihi poto I tēnei wā. It's a pleasure, and I just want to pick up some of your own humble words. Thank you, Sandra. Your Worship, insofar as being, I hope, a key enabler that will also bind in the spirit of our community, total inclusion. And so just on that note, tēnei te mihi atu to the many people that I've worked with, and looking forward to the many councillors, of course, in your new post, alongside the new members of Takoto no. Tēnā koutou, tēnā tātou, kia ora mai tātou katoa. And just to make it number 8, well, actually we'll leave it till the end. What do you reckon, eh? Let's play tēnā. Kia ora tātou.
This representative on the Māori Joint Committee, Te Rangi Hou, I have worked with for the last 2 terms when I was a councillor, and I loved sitting next to Te Rangi Hou. And while we've got Mare, who is a new member, Te Rangi Hou is a senior member who will bring that senior knowledge, experience of what he learned and what he's brought forward about how we can all work in partnership. So Te Rangi Hou, a very warm welcome. I look forward for us working with you again.
Ahoi rora ko te mihi tuatahi i tō tātou matua nui te rangi. Koe e te tīmatanga me te whakamutunga o nā mea katoa. Anei te kōrero e whaekene. Kaunihera ārohe o here taunga, te whakapuakanga a ngā mema. Kua hau ko te rangi hau Gilbert e o ati ana ka whaia hau i te pono me te tōkeke i runga hoki i te mutunga kē mai nei o āku pūkenga. O āku whakatau hoki kia whakatutuki, kia mahi anō hoki i te mana whakahaere, te mana whakatau me ngā momo mahi kua uhia ki runga i āhau. Kia whiwhi painga mo te takiwā o here taunga. Hei mema o te komiti tūnga Māori o here taunga Takotonoa. E ai hoki ki te ture kāwanatanga ātai au, rua mano e rua. Ki te ture kāwanatanga ātai au, whakapai me te hui ko tahi mano iwarau warutikau māwhitu. Me ētahi ture anō rānei. He mea whakau tēnei i here taunga i tēnei rā, te rua te kau o hui tanguru i te tau rua mano rua te kau. Kia ora tātou. Ahoi anō rā, he paku mihi atu tēnei kia koutou katoa nā mema hou o tō tātou komiti, tainu atu rā ana ki nā mema tahito, ki a koe hoki e te matua, Jerry, auti rā ki nā kaimahi katoa, ki a koe hoki e te rangatira, ka nui rā te mihi. It's lovely to be back up here signing this document. We had a hui not so long ago where I explained that I didn't think I was going to be here again, but here I am. And thank you so much for those lovely words, Sandra. It's a privilege to be able to be a part of this committee. As you say, hopefully I can bring with me some of the experiences that I've learned along the way. And we have a big mahi ahead of us. A big mahi. And I know that each and every one of us has been given this opportunity to work for our community, to put our best foot forward. So congratulations to everybody who are part of our team, and also to you, all the councillors and the staff of Hastings District Council. Kia ora tātou. Kia ora.
This member is known very well to so many of us, and not just him, but also his whānau and their contribution they have made to our district over many, many years. And I would like to acknowledge the relationship and the very strong relationship with the chairman of Tētai Whenua o Heretaunga, and the importance of that relationship to us as a council. Because what I've learnt in a very, very short time is that none of us can do anything on our own, but together we can be a mighty force. Mike Paku, we're delighted to have you join us.
Kia ora tātou. Ai mei kia koutou I tai mai I tēnei ai hei. Ka te sini hari koa hahau ke tai mai ki te tautoko I tēnei kaupapa, te kaunihera o Heretaunga, I tēnei wā. Thank you. We have Braille? Oh, I'll do it if you don't mind. I'll stick to the English as my first language. I, Mike Paku, declare that I will faithfully and impartially and according to the best of my skills and judgment execute and perform in the best interest of the Hastings District the powers, authority and duties vested in or imposed upon me as an appointed member of the Heretaunga Takatono Māori Standing Committee by virtue of the Local Government Act 2002, the Local Government Official Information and Meetings Act 1987 and any other act dated at the Hastings on the 20th day of February 2020. I just want to say thank you, Sandra, and to you as well, Nigel. I don't see myself as being a new member to this committee. I feel as though I'm returning home. I was on the last Māori Advisory Committee, which had the 23 members. So before the current format of our current advisory panel that sits today. So yes, I'm just returning back to finish off the mahi I started some 10, 12 years ago, whatever the case was. So kia ora tātou.
There are members that have a great deal of passion and a great deal of determination to bring about change, that aren't scared to challenge us and aren't scared to shake us. And that is a good thing. And that is a very good thing, because we all need to be shaken at times, because we all need to do our best. And without, what's the old saying? You can't forge steel without fire. I love that strong debate, and I love the way people come together to bring a strong view and passion to the table. I have also worked with this new member, he's a returning member of the committee. Naio, Tiuka, I welcome you back to shake us, to give us your passion. When I'm nudging you to say, come on, so what are you going to do about, what can we do about this? That you'll help us with the answers, because we can all have lots and lots to say, but we need people with solutions, and those solutions need to help us find a way forward. So very warm welcome back home. No pressure.
Read English or te reo Māori? I read English last time. Kia ora tātou. Kua hau ko nai o tiuka e oti ana ki whaia a hau I te pono me te tōkeke I runga hoki te mutunga ke mai nei o āku pukinga, o āku whakatau hoki kia whakatūtuki, ka mahi anō hoki te mana whakahaere, te mana whakatau me ngā momo mahi kua uhia ki runga I a au kia whiwhi painga mō takiwa o kahununu ki Heretaunga, hei mema o te komiti
tūngā Māori o Heretaunga takoto no e ai hoki ki te ture kāwanatanga a tai ao 2002 ki te ture kāwanatanga a tai ao whakapai me te hui 1987 me ētahi ture anō rānei.
Do we want the tamariki come up here, Niall, and have a photo?
Oh, totally up to them, but I think that will be a bit, yeah, bit shy. Oh, yeah, they come.
Support that.
Yeah, kia ora tātou. Thanks for those kind words and no pressure, Sandra. I'll keep it short. I'd just like to acknowledge you and the council, and especially last year's councillors, and kia ora George for being here, for showing some of that courage and passion and making some of those tough decisions last year. So acknowledge that and look forward to many more of those courageous conversations. And yeah, what are they here for? They were here during some of that, actually.
Me too.
Kia ora.
This person is a friend, a hard-working ex-councillor, a very dedicated and loyal servant to the community. And while he's no longer a councillor with us, we couldn't let him go too far away. And he's come back to help us with our hearings because of his great deal of knowledge that he has in this area. And it's about finding the right people at the right time for the right job. And we welcome you, George, to help us as we navigate through our district plan, as we navigate through some of our big challenges over land use, and as you help us to ensure that we use our land and our water as wisely as we can. It's wonderful to have you back on board with us. Thank you, George Lyons.
Thank you, Sandra. I, George Alexander Lyons, declare that I will faithfully and impartially and according to the best of my skill and judgment execute and perform in the best interests of the Hastings District the powers, authorities and duties vested in or imposed upon me as an externally appointed committee chair of the Hastings District Council by virtue of the Local Government Act 2002, the Local Government Official Information and Meetings Act 1987 and any other act dated at Hastings the 20th day of February 2020. Thank you, Sandra. Thank you.
You thought you wouldn't be saying that again, didn't
No.
you?
I was just saying to somebody outside as I was waiting to come in, it's like I've got a rubber band on my back. I just get out to Bridge Par and ping, I'm back in again. So, but no, it's good. Thank you very much for your kind words, and I will enjoy being part of this hearings committee, and I will watch with interest what happens around the table. So thank you everybody. Where do I need to sign here?
Awesome.
Thank you.
Okay. And our final new member of our Māori Joint Committee is Tania Eden. And Tania and I haven't really had a great deal of time together, but thank goodness we've got another woman amongst us. Yay! We're not quite in the balance with the committee, but we'll be close to the balance. I've only known Tania through a very couple of
wines
at the charity wine auction last year was when we first met, but I know her skill, knowledge and expertise is going to take us a great deal further with what we have and understanding what is the best way to make some great choices and decisions for the future. And it is very, very exciting for your knowledge and skills to come to us and be part of everything we're trying to achieve. So a very warm welcome.
Kia ora koutou, tēnei ka mihi ki a koutou katoa, ka nui taku mihi ki a koutou. Kua hau ko Tania Eden, e oati ana, ka whaia hau I te pono me te tōkeke I runga hoki. i te mutunga ke mai nei o aku pukenga, o aku whakatau hoki kia whakatūtuki kia mahi anō hoki i te mana whakahaere, te mana whakatau me ngā momo mahi kua uhia ki runga i au kia whipi painga mō te takiwā o Heretaunga. Hei mema o te komiti tūnga Māori o Heretaunga Takoto Noa, e ai hoki ki te ture kawanatanga a tai ao 2002 ki te ture kawanatanga a tai ao whakapai me te hui 1987 mea ētahi ture anō rānei. I, Tania Eden, declare that I will faithfully and impartially and according to the best of my skill and judgment execute and perform in the best interests of the Hastings District the powers, authorities and duties vested in or imposed upon me as an appointed member of the Heretaunga Takoto Noa Māori Standing Committee. By virtue of the Local Government Act 2002, the Local Government Official Information and Meetings Act 1987, or any other act. Nō reira, tēnā koutou katoa. I'd like to call my tamariki up here to stand with me too, if they'd come up here. This is my son Josh and my daughter Keely. When we stand up here as part of members of this committee, there are thousands of people standing behind us and beside us and in front of us. And it's really important that we share with you that this is about aspiration for our whānau and our young ones. And also I acknowledge here today my sister Annie Aranui and my brother Peter Eden, who are here to support me, my friends and colleagues from the Napier City Council, Charles and Morehu, and my dearest friend, Numia Tomoana. So when we stand here, there's a lot of us standing together here, and I wish I could have invited everyone today, but I know that I couldn't do that, but that's okay. But it's indeed an honour and a privilege to be part of this committee, and we want to not just serve our community, but help our community and bring the voice of Māori into this wonderful community. So I acknowledge Sandra and Nigel and the councillors, and also James and Rose for helping us get to this stage, and also my fellow members on this committee. It is, like I said, it is an honour and a privilege. I spent 20 years in the police, and I actually policed here in Hastings for a long time, and also around the country. As a strategic advisor Māori, where I ended up working for the Commissioner, I was indeed honoured to do that role and help our people around that. I spent 30 years in government, and I hope I can bring those skills to help in some of the committees that we're going to be sitting on. But I acknowledge my whānau for being here today. Thank you for standing up here. Nō reira, tēnā koutou katoa. Kia ora.
So exciting. Oh, they're wonderful. Tony, I just need you to sign. Could you just sign your declaration? Sign that. Yes.
Live stream. Good. Kia putahi, kia putahi rā, tātou tātou e. Tūtera mai ngā iwi, tātou tātou e. Tūtera mai ngā iwi, tātou tātou e. Whai o te wharamatanga, me te aroha, e ngā iwi, kia putahi, kia putahi rā, tātou tātou e. Tūtera mai ngā iwi, tātou tātou e. Tūtera mai ngā iwi, tātou tātou e. Whai o te wā
So I just need to take us back to our council meeting of earlier this afternoon and finish just this legal matter as we turn to page 85 for those who've got a hard copy. Item 15, making the declarations externally appointed committee members. Thank you. So I've got a mover by Councillor Travis, second by Councillor Sholem. Very warm welcome to everyone. I put that now to vote. All those in favour, please say aye. Aye. Any against? Thank you, that's carried. Well done, everyone. No mai, haere mai. Very warm welcome to you all. Here's to a great 3 years together of us working together, and we really look forward to having your input around our council table. It's a very, very exciting time ahead. I'd like to now invite everyone up to have a beverage, a cold drink in the Mayor's office. So please, welcome to you all, and I'll see you up there. Councillors will take all our new members up to the Mayor's office, and if we could just have our final karakia now. Papa, Jerry, would you like to? Charles, that'd be lovely. James.
Tēnā tātou, tēnā koe e te kahika, te tumu whakarai, tēnā kōrua, koutou ngā kai kaukira, e te poari kai, tēnā tātou, kia kahai tui tō tātou mahi. Me haere tahi tātou i te taho o te kaukira ni. Engari, me tū mō ngai Māori, mō ngā te whakria, mō ngā te hine kari anō hoki, nore tēnā tātou, tēnā koe tā. Tēnei wāhanga whakamutunga. Me inoi tātou. Kia tau te rangi Māori ki tēnei whare. Kia tau te rangi Māori ki tēnei kaunihera. Ki tēnei poari Māori anō hoki e te atua kaharawa. Kia noho ta anahera ki runga i tēnei kāinga o here taunga. Ki tēnei takiwā o here taunga, o te whanganui arotu anō hoki, e te atua whakawhitia mai tō atu whai ki runga ki tēnei whare. Whakakororia te atariki e koutou e ngā tauiwi. Whakakororia te ia e koutou e ngā hunga katoa. Mō te mea kua whakakangia tōna te whai ki a tātou. Ai e mau ana te pono o te ariki ake. Gloria ki te matua me te tamaiti. Me te weiru atapu. Mei te timatanga no kia pera hoki ai anea kia pera ke ake. Ai ngā taumutunga kore. Amen. For health and strength and daily food we give thee thanks, O Lord. For fellowship and all things good we praise thy name, O Lord. Amen. Kia tau te rangi Māori e ki a koutou.